A big blow to Kenya, but also to the world at large. Maathai passed away at the Nairobi Hospital yesterday while undergoing treatment after a brave battle with cancer. Executive Director of the Green Belt Movement, Professor Karanja Njoroge, announced with shock the passing on of Maathai. Her family and loved ones were with her at the time of her demise. The Green Belt Movement describes her departure untimely and a great loss to all who knew and interacted with her as a mother, relative, co-worker, colleague, role model, and heroine. Maathai was greatly admired by many over her determination to make the world peaceful, healthy, and a better place for us all.
Has recognized that to protect the country is also to protect the environment.
Her death has left many shocked. Her peers and the teaching fraternity share their grief. Professor Maathai started the Green Belt Movement in 1977, working with women to improve their livelihoods by increasing their access to resources like firewood for cooking and clean water. She became a great advocate for better natural resource management practices that are sustainable, equitable, and just. Her life's work was recognized many times all over the world. The 71-year-old Professor Maathai leaves her 3 children, Waweru, Wanjira, and Muta, and a granddaughter, Ruth Wangari. Following her demise, scores of Kenyans from all walks of life have sent condolence messages to her loved ones. Professor Maathai has been an active conservation campaigner.
The reckoned environmentalist and Nobel laureate was pronounced dead last night at the Nairobi Hospital while undergoing treatment. Professor Wangari Maathai has been in and out of hospital in the last 1 year for care after being diagnosed with ovarian cancer. Her death came as a shock to many, and especially the Kenyan public, and more so those who interacted with her.
Afrika mzima tumepoteza kiongozi. Tumepoteza kiongozi kama wamama. Kupata mama kama huyo mama asimame kulingana na vile alisimama enyewe ni vigumu.
Being that I'm standing in Uhuru Park, which I know a few years ago was already fenced for the famous Kenya Times Tower, and she really fought to get it back. It's really a big loss.
Ni huzuni sana kwa Wakenya wote na wamama wote, sababu alikuwa role model wa everybody.
She was very instrumental on the work of environment, conserving environment, and managing it at the same time, planting trees. I'm very sure that's a big dent on the work of environmental conservation.
Executive Director of the Green Belt Movement, Professor Karanja Njoroge, termed the death untimely and a big blow to the lovers of environment and women's rights. Professor Wangari started the Green Belt Movement in 1977, her pet project that was later to propel her to international recognition. The lover of trees found it rough in her cause of duty, rubbing authorities in the Moi regime the wrong way, and had once to flee the dreaded General Service Unit as she attempted to sneak into Karura Forest to plant trees to protect the grubbing of the forest. Professor Wangari Maathai died at 71. Angela Kiboi reporting for the News at 9.
This message from the Green Belt Movement confirmed that Professor Wangari Maathai was no more. The Nobel laureate and voice of nature is gone, but her spirit lives on. And that was the trigger that prompted an outpouring of messages through social and other forms of media from all her admirers, regardless of class or stature. And even proceedings at The Hague began with Francis Muthaura's lawyer Karim Khan prompting the court of her demise.
I thought it only right to acknowledge the contribution this lady has made to the cause of peace and to raise this acknowledgement in court today.
This very sad news was in the news all over the world, so everyone should express his or her grief about such a loss. So.
On his Twitter page, Tanzania President Jakaya Kikwete described Maathai as a great woman, an inspiration to many across Africa, and a magnificent visionary and embodiment of courage, with his Liberian counterpart Ellen Johnson Sirleaf mourning the first African woman Nobel laureate, saying Africa, particularly women, had lost a champion, a leader, an activist who will be missed for her work to protect the environment and working for women's rights and participation. CNN Inside Africa anchor Aisha Sisay said she was saddened by news of her death, adding, and I quote, "I interviewed her a couple of years ago and was so inspired by her," end quote. Former UN Chief Kofi Annan's message hailed her, saying she would forever be in the hearts of many for her efforts in protecting the environment, with fellow Nobel laureates Desmond Tutu and former South Africa President Nelson Mandela saying she was a true African woman. The activity on her Twitter page is evidence that even at death, the late Professor Wangari Maathai still radiates from within her. Great inspiration, not just to Kenyans or Africans, but many a society from all over the globe. Let us now just sample some of the messages that we've seen on her page and across the many internet sites and blogs that we have looked at. UNEP Executive Director Akim Steiner described the professor of anatomy as a force of nature, saying that while others deployed their power and life to damage, degrade and extract short-term profit from the environment, Maathai used hers to argue for conservation and sustainable development. Another tribute posted on Facebook by Father Eusebio Kabubu concluded, "Rest in peace, Mama Africa, Mama Kenya, Mama Tetu, Mama Greenbelt," with international press extensively splashing the news, with CNN, Al Jazeera, among others, displaying her invaluable picture on their websites. The New York Times, which dedicated a front-page headline and a trending link, described her as one of the most famous and widely respected women on the continent, with many hearts. The Guardian of the UK did not just break the news of her death on their website, but provided a link to her articles they have published, the latest being on March 8th this year. "Rest in peace, the trees you planted, the people you helped and inspired, and your work live on," said another internet post, perhaps in respect of these words she uttered when she received her Nobel Prize. Milton Yakundi for the news at 9.